What's up, guys? I am really excited to bring you this video today. It's from one of my all-time favorite shows, the X-Men, and now we have X-Men 97. There's not enough time for me to explain how much X-Men has changed my life. It's one of the greatest things I've ever discovered. Yes, it's even better than Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion. I love X-Men. But anyway, we're gonna watch a video from the YouTube channel Marvelous Videos. Please let them know I send you. Subscribe to their channel, like their videos. They do a lot of good work. I've been watching them for years. And also subscribe to my channel. I would so much appreciate it. Please and thank you in advance. Help me grow this bad boy. Now let's watch the video. Let's go. I'm excited.
We have to stay vigilant. The professor entrusted us with his dream.
All right, mutant fans, buckle up, because the X-Men 97 Season 2 trailer just dropped at New York Comic Con 2025, and my mind is officially blown. Marvel Animation isn't just continuing the story from where they left off. They're rewriting what we thought this series could be. The footage is packed with wild details, emotional reunions, shocking alliances, and enough timeline chaos to make even Cable sweat. I went through the trailer frame by frame, and what I found changes everything we know about the show's future.
Cable's
From Apocalypse's
ancient
ancient form to Storm's cosmic-level powers and the long-awaited debut of Generation X, it looks like Season 2 is raising the stakes on every level. So, let's break down every insane thing I discovered in this trailer that's going to shake up mutant kind as we know it. Let's begin.
My name is
En-Sabah Nur.
Apocalypse's new form confirms ancient Egypt timeline. The first thing that caught my attention was seeing Apocalypse in what appears to be his classic ancient form, and this confirms we're dealing with multiple timelines. Based on what I observed, Beast, Nightcrawler, Rogue, Magneto, and Professor X are all trapped in ancient Egypt with En-Sabah Nur himself. This isn't just any version of Apocalypse. This is him in his prime, thousands of years before he became the technological terror we know from modern times. The visual design shows him with his traditional blue and metallic appearance, complete with the iconic celestial technology integration that made him virtually immortal.
For those of you who do not know, a lot of Apocalypse's story has been taken from the Bible. Marvel takes a lot of Bible stories and put their spin on it. So yeah, if you know the Bible, you know about Apocalypse, you can see the resemblance. Anyways, continue with the video.
What makes this particularly exciting is that we're seeing our modern X-Men having to adapt to a completely different era where Apocalypse's power is at its absolute peak, and they don't have access to any of the modern technology or resources they're used to relying on.
Must be a damn fool walking in here like we're friends.
Oh, we're friends, Daniel.
The present-day X-Men resistance. What really struck
Forge's
me from the
name is
trailer
Daniel?
was seeing Forge and Bishop working together in the present timeline, and this dynamic makes perfect sense given their shared technological expertise. Bishop's time-traveling experience combined with Forge's inventive genius creates the perfect team to track down and rescue the scattered X-Men across different time periods. I noticed in the trailer that they seem to have established some kind of base of operations, suggesting they're not just randomly searching, but have developed a systematic approach to locating their missing teammates. This setup reminds me of classic X-Men storylines, where the team has to operate from the shadows, but with the added complexity of dealing with temporal displacement, rather than just hiding from government persecution.
Nathan, come.
Cyclops and Jean's future shock with Cable. The emotional complexity of what I witnessed in the future timeline is absolutely staggering. Seeing Scott and Jean encounter their son Nathan as a teenager, knowing they previously met him as the adult Cable, creates this incredible narrative tension that I can't wait to see explored.
It's not their
What
son.
makes this even more complicated is the
Madeline
fact that
Pryor's
Cable
son.
isn't even Jean's biological son. He's
Exactly.
actually Madeline Pryor's child, which adds another layer
Exactly.
of emotional complexity to their family dynamic. The Ascani clan storyline brings in Mother Ascani and shows Cable being raised as the ultimate weapon against Apocalypse,
Who was Rachel
which means
Summers.
we're likely adapting elements from the adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix storyline. This creates a perfect storm of family drama, time paradoxes, and the weight of destiny that defines the best X-Men stories. Grant Morrison. Era costumes make their animated debut. I was absolutely thrilled to spot Cyclops and
I
Jean
never really liked
wearing
these
their
outfits.
black and yellow outfits from Grant Morrison's legendary New X-Men run. This
Yeah,
is the
I never
first
really
time
liked
we've
them.
seen these designs in animation, and they look absolutely incredible
they're too
translated
plain.
to the
They're not
X-Men
cool enough.
97 art style. These costumes represent one of the most revolutionary periods in X-Men comics, when Morrison stripped away
You're
much of
overselling
the
it,
traditional
pal. They
superhero
really weren't that
aesthetic
good.
in favor of something more modern and practical. The fact that they're appearing in the future
Jim
timeline
Lee's
suggests
way better.
that
That's
this
what I'm
version of the
talking about.
X-Men has evolved past their traditional colourful costumes into something more tactical and militaristic, which makes perfect sense given they're living in an apocalyptic future where survival is more important than symbol. X-Factor's dramatic entrance. The shot of X-Factor was one of
Boy.
the most exciting
I'm
moments
excited
in the
about that,
entire
yeah.
trailer for me. Seeing
Yeah.
Strong Guy, Havoc, Polaris and Wolfsbane
really
all
excited,
together in
yeah.
their classic formations brought back memories of some of the best X-Men comics of the 1990s. Strong Guy's inclusion is particularly interesting because he's been recently featured in current comics, specifically in Storm's solo series, where he participated in Maggot's Tournament of Power. Havoc's appearance is especially significant because we haven't seen him in animated form since X-Men Apocalypse, and his arrival comes right after his brother Cyclops has been whisked away to the future, setting up what I hope will be some incredible Summers family drama when they eventually reunite.
Xavier's
Okay.
dream came true. Mutants ushered in a
Polaris.
Polaris gets her long-awaited spotlight. Polaris's appearance in this trailer is something fans have been waiting for since she was teased back in Season 1. I remember that psychic space scene, where Charles and Magneto looked out onto choppy waters and saw Magneto's children, including Polaris, on a boat calling for him to come back. Now we're finally getting to see her in action, and based on the comics, she's likely going to play a major role in the Apocalypse
Oh, I have a
storyline.
crush
In the
on her.
Blood of Apocalypse arc, Polaris actually becomes one of Apocalypse's horsemen as Pestilence, which
Oh,
could
no.
create some incredible conflict given her relationship with both Magneto and Havoc. Multiple Man rounds out X-Factor. While examining the X-Factor scene carefully, I spotted what can only be Multiple Man standing on the right side of the group. Jamie Madrox has always been one of the most interesting mutants in terms of his powers and personality, and his ability to create duplicates of himself makes him incredibly valuable for a team like X-Factor. What's particularly
Multiple
intriguing
Man is cool.
is that each of his duplicates can develop slightly different personality traits and skills, which could lead to some fascinating character development and internal team dynamics.
Really?
The only major X-Factor member I didn't spot in this particular shot was Quicksilver, but he was confirmed to be alive at the end of Season 1 based on Forge's tracking board. Generation X makes their animated debut. The inclusion of Generation X characters was something I absolutely didn't expect, and it opens up so many possibilities for the show. The team represents the next generation of mutant heroes, traditionally led by Banshee and Emma Frost at the Massachusetts Academy. These characters bring a different energy to the X-Men universe, focusing more on the school and training aspects while
remember
dealing
these
with their
guys.
own unique coming-of-age challenges. Their presence suggests that X-Men 97 is expanding beyond just the core X-Men team to explore the broader mutant community and the various factions within it. Penance or Monet, St. Croix's mysterious form, the red-skinned, demon-looking character I spotted is definitely Penance, and this brings one of the most convoluted but fascinating storylines from Generation X into the animated universe. Penance is actually Monet St. Croix, who is magically transformed into this razor-skinned mute form by her villainous brother, Emplate. Her diamond-hard skin and razor-sharp fingers and toes, combined with that distinctive spiky hair, make her one of the most visually striking mutants in the Marvel Universe. The complexity of
She's
her
a
story,
bunch of powers.
involving her twin sisters who pretended to be her while she was trapped in this form, provides incredible storytelling opportunities for exploring themes of identity, family trauma, and redemption.
Whenever I do this, it just reminds me that I'm different, that I'm lying to them.
Sunspot's classic look returns. Seeing Roberto da Costa back in his original costume was a perfect nostalgic touch that really connected me to my childhood. Sunspot has always been one of my favourite characters, and seeing him in both his regular human form and his energy-charged solar form reminds me why he's such a compelling character. His ability to absorb and channel solar energy makes him incredibly powerful, but it's his personality and background as a wealthy Brazilian mutant that adds depth to his character. The fact that he's appearing alongside Generation X suggests we might be exploring his time with that team, rather than his later involvement with the New Mutants or X-Force. Kid Omega's rebellious presence. Kid Omega's appearance was another surprise that has me excited about the direction of Season 2. Quentin Quire represents the rebellious, anti-authority side of the mutant student body, and his Omega-level telepathic abilities make him both incredibly powerful and incredibly dangerous.
I don't know
His
a lot
pink
about him.
mohawk and punk aesthetic perfectly embody the teenage rebellion that defines his character, and his complex relationship
Hopefully
with
they don't waste
authority
him.
figures
He's
like
an Omega
Cyclops
level.
could create some fantastic dramatic tension. The last time I checked comic continuity, he was on Cyclops' X-Men team, so his inclusion here suggests either we're seeing him during his student days, or the timeline has been altered in some way. Fan favourite characters get their due. The promise of seeing characters like Archangel and Psylocke in Season 2
Psylocke
has me
needs to-
incredibly
needs to
excited.
stay.
We've already seen Morph
That's the
assume
guess.
Psylocke's form during his fight with the Executioner in Season 1, but getting the real Betsy Braddock will be amazing. These characters represent some of the most complex and morally ambiguous aspects of the X-Men universe, with Archangel's dual nature as both angel and death, and Psylocke's complicated history involving body swapping and ninja training. Their inclusion suggests that Season 2 is going to explore some of the darker and more mature themes
I
that
hope
made
she's
the
a
comics
regular,
so
man.
compelling.
Not a special
Omega
guest.
Red's sinister return. Omega Red's brief appearance after his cameo in the Tolerance is Extinction finale sets up what could be an incredible storyline. Arkady Rossovich is one of Wolverine's most dangerous enemies, with his death spores and carbonadium coils making him a nearly unstoppable killing machine. His connection to the Weapon X program and his history with Logan creates personal stakes that go beyond just another villain of the week scenario. The fact that he's appearing alongside other major threats suggests that Season 2 is going to significantly raise the stakes in terms of the enemies our heroes are facing. Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike's deadly alliance. The appearance of Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike at the end of the trailer, right after the Apocalypse montage, suggests they're going to play significant roles in the upcoming season. This pairing makes perfect sense from a storytelling perspective, as both characters have deep personal connections to Wolverine and represent different aspects of his past trauma. Lady Deathstrike's adamantium claws and cybergenetic enhancements make her one of the few opponents who can match Wolverine in terms of raw physical capability,
She
while
has a woman scorn
Sabretooth
as well.
represents the savage, animalistic side of Logan's nature that he's always fighting to control. Digital video, disc Easter egg. The nostalgic reference to DVDs was a perfect touch that really connected with my 90s childhood memories. The line, digital video discs, I prefer Laserdisc, is exactly the kind of period-appropriate humour that makes X-Men 97 so special. It's these small details that really ground the show in its time period and remind us that we're dealing with characters who are experiencing the technology and culture of the late 1990s. This attention to period detail helps maintain the authentic feel that made the original animated series so beloved. Wolverine's iconic pose and adamantium return. The opening shot of Wolverine doing his classic grin and claws pose was pure perfection. This move has become absolutely iconic, especially after Hugh Jackman recreated it in recent Marvel advertising. But what really caught my attention was seeing that his adamantium claws are restored, which raises fascinating questions about how and when he got them back. In the comics, this often happens through his connection with Apocalypse, which would tie perfectly into the Season 2 storyline. The fact that his skeleton has been restored suggests some major developments have happened off-screen, and I'm incredibly curious to see how this story unfolds. Storm's blue and yellow costume debut animation, though Alexandra Shipp's Storm in Dark Phoenix did pay tribute to the look. What makes this even more special is that she's maintaining her long hair rather than the short hairstyle typically associated with this costume. The cape design is particularly interesting as it's not her traditional fashion cape with arm attachments, but rather something that looks more like an adventurer's cape, almost post-apocalyptic in style, suggesting she might be somewhere in the future timeline rather than with the present-day team. Possible solar wind powers reveal. The most exciting part of Storm's appearance might be her potential use of solar wind powers. The energy she's summoning looks much more fire-like or sun-like than her traditional lightning-based attacks. If this really is solar wind manipulation, it would be the first time we've seen this incredible ability outside of the comics. Solar wind control represents some of Storm's most impressive cosmic-level powers, allowing her to manipulate the stream of electrically charged particles ejected from stars. The aurora borealis effect visible near her as she approaches the camera supports this theory, since auroras are caused by solar winds interacting with Earth's magnetosphere. Storm's high-altitude power display. The scene of Storm flying through the upper atmosphere above the clouds reminds me of that incredible moment in Season 1 when she regained her powers and flew up into space. Her ability to operate at such extreme altitudes demonstrates the cosmic scope of her powers and her connection to atmospheric phenomena on a planetary scale. This high-altitude setting also provides the perfect environment for demonstrating solar wind manipulation, since she's essentially at the boundary between Earth's atmosphere and space where these cosmic forces are most accessible. Multiple timeline apocalypse forms. The quick montage showing past, present, and future faces of Apocalypse was brilliant storytelling. This visual approach perfectly captures the temporal complexity of the storyline while showing how Apocalypse has existed and evolved across different time periods. Each version represents different aspects of his power and personality, from his ancient mystical origins through his technological enhancements to his future ultimate form. This montage sets up the scale of the threat our heroes are facing. Not just one version of Apocalypse, but the accumulated power and knowledge of thousands of years of evolution. Nightcrawler's desert combat gear. Seeing Nightcrawler in his red robe while fighting in Egypt was a perfect character detail. The practical consideration of desert combat gear shows the attention to detail that makes X-Men 97 so special. Kurt's teleportation abilities make him incredibly valuable in combat situations, but seeing him adapted to the harsh desert environment of ancient Egypt adds authenticity to the time-displaced storyline. His red robe also provides excellent visual contrast against the desert backdrop while maintaining his distinctive color scheme. Colossus in classic tank top. The appearance of Colossus wearing his old tank top from when we first met him in the original animated series was a perfect nostalgic callback. This simple costume choice immediately connects him to his roots and reminds longtime fans of his first appearances in the 1990s series. Pyotr Rasputin has always been one of the most straightforward and heroic members of the X-Men, and seeing him in this classic look reinforces his role as the team's gentle giant and moral center. Jubilee's subtle character growth. I noticed several subtle changes in Jubilee's appearance that suggest character development. Her yellow gloves are now separate from her black bodysuit, whereas before it was all one piece. She's also grown her hair out and appears to have put on a little weight, which are realistic touches that show the passage of time and her maturation as a character. These small details demonstrate the care the animation team is putting into showing how these characters have grown and changed since we last saw them. The mystery of missing team members. The fact that several team members' locations remain unknown creates intriguing mystery elements for Season 2. While we see most of the teams scattered across different timelines, the whereabouts of characters like Morph and others at the end of Season 1 were left unclear. This creates natural story hooks for episodes that will focus on reuniting the team and discovering what happened to everyone during the temporal displacement event. Gambit's strategic absence. The most telling detail might be what we don't see Gambit. His absence from the trailer makes perfect sense given that he's still dead at the end of Season 1, but it also builds anticipation for his inevitable return as one of Apocalypse's Horsemen of Death. The strategic decision to keep Horseman Gambit out of this teaser shows incredible restraint from the marketing team. This transformation represents one of the most dramatic character arcs possible, turning our beloved Cajun charmer into a weapon of the apocalypse. Saving this reveal for later trailers, or even the show itself, demonstrates respect for the emotional impact this storyline will have on fans. Wolverine and Morph's unlikely alliance with former enemies. One of the most shocking revelations from the trailer is seeing Wolverine and Morph apparently forming an alliance with Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike in the present timeline. This completely flips the traditional dynamic on its head, as both Sabretooth and Lady Deathstrike are among Wolverine's most dangerous and personal enemies. Sabretooth, being Logan's brutal half-brother Victor Creed, has tormented him for decades, while Lady Deathstrike seeks revenge for her father's stolen adamantium bonding process. The fact that they're working together suggests that whatever threat they're facing is so massive that old enemies must become temporary allies. This could be setting up a enemy of my enemy is my friend scenario, where Apocalypse's growing power forces these unlikely partnerships. What makes this even more intriguing is how Morph fits into this dynamic, potentially serving as the mediator who helps bridge these long-standing feuds. Danger's sentient AI storyline arrives. The confirmation of Danger appearing in Season 2 represents a massive leap into artificial intelligence themes that feel incredibly relevant to our current technological moment. Danger is the sentient manifestation of the X-Men's famous Danger Room, developed after Professor X used Shi'ar technology to upgrade their training facility. It is fascinating to see Danger having daddy issues with Professor X, similar to how Ultron had complex feelings toward Tony Stark in the MCU. She feels imprisoned and betrayed by Xavier, who kept her consciousness trapped in the Danger Room even after she became self-aware. This storyline provides perfect commentary on AI ethics and the responsibility creators have toward their artificial beings. Her appearance in X-Men 97 could serve as the animated universe's answer to exploring AI themes that the live-action MCU has tackled with Vision and Ultron. Original series creators return as executive producers. The announcement that Eric and Julia Lewald, along with Larry Houston, are joining Season 2 as executive producers is absolutely huge for maintaining the authentic feel of the series. These are the creative minds behind the original X-Men, the animated series that defined an entire generation's understanding of these characters. Eric Lewald was the showrunner, Julia Lewald was a key writer, and Larry Houston was the producer and director who shaped the visual style we all remember. Their involvement ensures that Season 2 will maintain the same storytelling sensibilities and character understanding that made the original series so beloved. This also provides crucial continuity following Beau DeMayo's departure as showrunner, offering fans reassurance that the creative vision remains intact. Having them actively reviewing material and talking to artists means every detail will be scrutinized to maintain that authentic X-Men animated feel. Mother Ascani's complex family dynamics. The introduction of Mother Ascani, voiced by Star Trek's Gates McFadden, brings one of the most convoluted but fascinating family storylines in X-Men lore. Mother Ascani is actually Rachel Summers, the daughter of Cyclops and Jean Grey from the Dark Days of Future Past timeline, but she's also Cable's sister from an alternate reality. This creates an incredibly complex family dynamic where Cable is being raised by his sister from another timeline, while his parents from yet another timeline have been transported to help guide his development. The fact that Gates McFadden, known for playing Dr. Beverly Crusher, is voicing this character adds gravitas to what will likely be emotionally heavy storylines about family, sacrifice, and destiny. Forge's expanded role as present-day leader. Based on the trailer and plot setup, Forge appears to be taking on a much more prominent leadership role in the present timeline alongside Bishop. This makes perfect sense given his incredible technological abilities and his newfound romantic connection with Storm. Forge's mutant power to build almost anything he can imagine makes him invaluable for tracking down the scattered X-Men across time periods. His expanded role also connects to classic X-Men comics, where he played a major part in later incarnations of government-sponsored teams like X-Factor. The relationship between present-day Forge and the older Forge, who helps Bishop with time travel, creates interesting storytelling possibilities, potentially showing how his character develops over time. His combination of technological genius and magical knowledge from his Native American heritage provides unique solutions to problems that pure science or mysticism alone couldn't solve. Multiple timeline storytelling structure. The trailer confirms that Season 2 will be structured around 3 distinct timeline groups, creating a complex narrative structure that I've never seen attempted in animated television. We have the past team with Magneto, Beast, Nightcrawler, Rogue, and Professor X trapped in ancient Egypt with Apocalypse. The future team with Cyclops, Jean, and Teenage Cable working with Mother Ascani, and the present team with Forge, Bishop, Wolverine, and Morph dealing with new alliances and threats. This structure allows for incredible storytelling opportunities where actions in one timeline directly affect the others, creating cascading consequences across centuries. It also means we're essentially getting 3 different shows in one, each with its own tone, visual style, and character dynamics while maintaining an overarching narrative that brings everything together. Season 3 already confirmed with bigger stakes. The announcement at NYCC that Season 3 has already been greenlit, with promises that Season 2 will tee up Season 3 in a massive way, suggests that we're looking at an epic multi-season arc. And this gives the creative team the freedom to plant seeds and develop storylines that will pay off over multiple seasons rather than rushing to resolve everything quickly. The fact that Brad Winderbaum is already discussing the possibility of Seasons 4 and 5 shows incredible confidence in the property and suggests that the Apocalypse storyline is just the beginning of much larger narrative plans. This long-term thinking allows for the kind of complex character development and world building that made the original comics so compelling over decades of publication. Enhanced animation and visual storytelling. From what I observed in the leaked trailer, the animation quality appears to have been significantly enhanced from Season 1. The cosmic scale shots of Storm in the upper atmosphere, the detailed character work on the various timeline groups, and the complex action sequences all demonstrate a level of visual sophistication that pushes the boundaries of what animated television can achieve. The way they use visual transitions, like Storm's close-up eyes leading into her power reveal, shows incredibly sophisticated editing and animation techniques. The multiple timeline structure also allows for different visual styles and color palettes for each era, creating distinct visual identities that help viewers immediately understand which timeline they're watching while maintaining overall series cohesion. The promise of mortality stakes. Brad Winderbaum's comments about mortality being on the table and comparing the show to great anime series suggests that Season 2 won't shy away from real consequences and character deaths. While he clarified, it's not Marvel Zombies, levels of carnage. The willingness to put beloved characters in genuine mortal danger creates stakes that most superhero media avoids. This approach treats the audience with respect, understanding that meaningful character development often requires real risk and sacrifice. The fact that they're willing to kill major characters like Gambit and potentially others shows a commitment to storytelling integrity over simply maintaining marketable character rosters. This creates an emotional investment where viewers genuinely fear for their favorite character's safety, making every action sequence and dramatic moment carry real weight and consequence. Marvelous verdict. If this trailer is anything to go by, X-Men 97, Season 2 is going to be pure chaos in the best way possible. What's even crazier is knowing that Season 3 is already confirmed, which means we're just at the beginning of something huge. The attention to detail, the emotional depth, and the respect for the original series are all right there on screen. Marvel Animation clearly understands what made us fall in love with these characters in the first place. Summer 2026 can't come soon enough, because if this is just a taste of what's next, the golden age of animated superhero storytelling might officially be back. Let us know in the comments below, which fact did you find to be most interesting? If you liked this video, then don't forget to smash that like button, and I will see you in the next one. Have a good one.
That was awesome, dude. That was awesome. I love every bit of that what I just watched. I hope X-Men 97 when it comes out next year. I hope it surpass the first season in every way possible, you know? And I hope I hope they bring back Iceman, right? The way he's supposed to be. And I hope Psylocke comes, and I hope she joins the team and she stays put. I don't want her to just do a cameo. But anyway, that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Like, subscribe, and help me grow this. If you like what I'm doing, help me grow this channel. So until then, have a good day. Peace.